Barstool Big Cat joining us on Waddle and Silvy as he does every Wednesday at this time.
Lots of juicy things to talk about with the Big Cat.
Before we get to the Bears, there's lots of good feelings surrounding them after their win in London. But Big Cat, your first thoughts about hearing Jerry Reinsdorf being open to selling the White Sox, but nothing regarding the Bulls.
Yeah, that's my first thought. Do the Bulls too. Why not? Let's just package them together. Jeff Bezos can buy them both, and he'll still have, $100 billion in the bank. Do them both. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
Let's make it a package deal.
My guess is
get them out of our lives.
My guess is that's probably not going to happen, especially after the announcement of the project with the Blackhawks with regard to the area over there. Remember the parking garages and everything else.
Yeah.
It sounds like that's a big project that his investment group probably wants to stay connected to. The White Sox, different entity.
How much?
And what about, this perfect time, right? Again, as I was saying, Big Cat, you could probably fetch $2 billion for that franchise. You're not going to have to pour any money into it if you sell it now. Let whoever buys it be the one that creates, the more reasonable baseball franchise and a team that has the capacity to win. I would think now is the time to move on if that's on the table.
And maybe this is wishful thinking that, if you cash a $2 billion check, maybe some of that money does go to the Bulls. Probably not, though.
Probably not. No.
Probably not.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about watching the Bulls these days, Big Cat? Or at
least,
are you available?
Yeah.
Is it available?
They're making Jerry Reinsdorf is making me be a criminal. Because I'm illegally watching them. I'm finding streams online.
Really?
I watched the Blackhawks last night on an illegal stream. So this is blood on his hands. I'm breaking the law because of what they're doing to us.
Were you able to watch the entire game, or does it do you get squiggly lines or anything like that? You're trying to watch?
No, I have ways.
Illegal porn viewing.
Yeah, no. Listen, I have ways of finding the game. I watched the third period last night, but yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. It's an insane proposition. You hear it happen in other places, and you're like, that would not happen in Chicago, and now here we are, and I don't understand it. I feel like the deadline would have been the start of the Blackhawks season. Maybe it's the first home game on Friday night. I don't know, but it just makes no sense.
Big Cat, I was theorizing earlier. It feels like the era that we're in now that streaming has become, we're a decade into streaming at this point. It definitely feels like the Bulls, Blackhawks, White Sox, this conglomerate, CHSN, dropped the ball not having a direct-to-consumer app available for their fans if they weren't going to be able to hammer out a deal with all of the big carriers, all the big cable carriers in Chicago. It seems like you're missing the mark here because the start of the season is when fan bases get excited. They're not going to be excited, a couple of weeks in when they all of a sudden look up and they look at both the Bulls and probably the Blackhawks and they already see them at the bottom of the standings. You lose a lot of the interest from your fan base. And if they're not going to go out and buy HD antennas, because who does that in this day and age? It just seems like they're missing the mark.
And also, I haven't read fully up on it. I read a lot of headlines. That's kind of my reading comprehension is I read the headline and move on. But
you're not alone.
Is it true that essentially they're looking for a 5-year deal from some of these, from some of the carriers and the carriers are like, oh, we'll do a 2-year deal? Is that, do I have that part right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, you may be. I know Silvy last week reported that what he's hearing is that there's a different, the Blackhawks, the Bulls and the White Sox want to be on a lower tier, basically like a sports tier, like they used to, like NBC Sports Chicago used to be on that sports package. However, Comcast Xfinity is pushing they want them to be on a higher tier, like how HBO is on a higher level tier and you have to pay more. So that's part of the disconnect as to where they're having an impasse.
Okay. Cause I heard the year thing and it was shocking to me because essentially what I heard, and again, this might not be true, but I'm just going to go with it and say it's true, that they wanted a 5-year deal. If you're the Blackhawks and you have Connor Bedard, why wouldn't you just bet on Connor Bedard? Sign a 2-year deal, and then I would rather a shorter deal. Sign a 2-year deal, and then when he's starting to win Stanley Cups, and you re-up and the price goes up. It's just the whole thing makes no sense, and the only loser in all of this is the fan.
Yeah,
that's the part that really stinks, is that we're just getting left completely in the dark. And I keep thinking that, as the days go by, that there will be a deal. It's kind of like This happened with DirecTV and ESPN to start the season for Monday Night Football.
It did.
Like they didn't have, if you had DirecTV, you couldn't watch Monday Night Football. It happened. 1 week went by. First Monday night game. No Monday Night Football. My producer Hank actually came over to my house to watch Monday Night Football. I was like taking in refugees, but I told him, I was like, listen, the minute they get to the second week, they're gonna do a deal because it just can't happen. Like these type of things happen where you just have it for a week where it's like everyone starts complaining and then they're like, all right, we got to get a deal done. I feel like should have happened already.
At any point, did you debate buying an antenna?
No, because I have my ways of getting it illegally.
Yeah. Okay. I just wondered.
But Big Cat, there's a lot of people out there like him. That's exactly what they're doing. They're not going to go out and buy an HD antenna again when they're not even sure half the time if they're buying the right antenna.
Let me walk me through this. How do you watch the game illegally through your television? How do you? I don't do it
through my television. I do it on my computer or my phone.
Okay, but like, what if you wanted to just like, I want to lay on my couch and eat a bunch of chips and drink a bunch of beer and watch the game on my television? I can't do it that way.
Some people
you can share it. You could. I'm sure you can, but
Waddle can't mirror it. That's for sure.
But they're making us criminals. We're all criminals right now. It's crazy.
So you didn't even think about buying the antenna for like $15?
Not even for a second. Okay, I'll figure out a way to watch it.
There you go.
Well, you're just making a point.
Figure out a way.
Yes, this is about principle for you.
Exactly. They are basically saying that they're giving me an option that I don't want to choose an antenna in 2024. So now they're basically walking me into crime, and they are making criminals out of all of us.
Yeah, that's fair. It's sound logic. I don't think it can be debated.
You got a little bit of money. Would you ever contemplate trying to put a group together to buy a Major League Baseball franchise?
I don't have. That's a different. I mean, I could buy like the Thunderbolts, maybe.
What about 10% of the Raiders? Could you buy 10% of the Raiders, Big Cat?
Could I buy 10% of the Raiders? That's the part that drives me nuts with all these guys and how greedy they are. Jerry Reinsdorf bought the White Sox for like a bushel of strawberries.
Yes, $10 million, something like that, right? Wasn't that what it was?
And you know what? It's these. And I'm sorry that I'm going to say this because Waddle, I don't know your exact age, but you might be part. No, you're not. You're younger than that. It's the stupid boomers. The boomers have just bought everything in the world, and then they're like, "Oh, you guys just got to work hard." Like people bought their houses in 1960 for $30,000 and a coupon, and they're like, "Why aren't you guys buying houses?" Like because they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
You bought up all the lands. Yes.
Yeah.
We bought up all the land and then they turn around and they say, oh, you guys are lazy. Like, no, we're not lazy. You guys just bought everything for so cheap and now it's so expensive and you screwed us all out of it. And that's what Jerry Reinsdorf did. He bought two franchises for money that is like, it's insane how much money he's going to get for both these franchises and what he bought it for.
Just one. It sounds like just one.
Yeah, they're not going to sell the Bulls.
The Bulls they're going to
keep.
No,
but this is how we got to muddy the waters. Just start saying I'm here, and he's going to sell both of them, and then maybe he's just so old that he's like, wait, am I selling both of these?
You can't sell two without selling one first, right, Big Cat?
Right, exactly. We just maybe he gets that taste of it. He might not even know how much money he's going to get from the White Sox. So now we'll get him, his feet wet. Show him that bank account. And then you'd be like, all right, let's do it again. You can double it again with the Bulls.
You're setting yourself up for disappointment again. I won't participate in that. I will say, though, that you were 100% right last week when I said, hey, don't sleep on the Jags. They can score points. And you said, I'm going to sleep on the Jags. And you were correct to sleep on that team. They were horrible, but our guys were good.
Yeah, you were dumb for saying that. That was really
stupid. It's true.
I do know ball. I think I was kind of right when I asked both you and Sylvia, I was like, how much Jaguar football have you actually watched? Because I've watched a good amount of it, and
I've watched more than
real
you.
Bad.
Yeah, I've watched more than you.
No, you don't watch more than me. Listen, the Bears game was. I don't know if you guys had the feeling though. There was a moment in the first quarter where I was like, "Uh-oh, what's going on here? Did we sleep? Are we sleepwalking this?" And then after Caleb's interception, which was bad, the offense was just perfect. And Caleb looked so good. And I get it. It's the Jags. And I get it. It was the Panthers. But I don't care because they pay those guys too.
Yep.
And good teams should demolish bad teams. And you know what it is? If you're someone who's sitting there and saying, well, it's the Jags, well, it's the Panthers. Guess what's happened? The bar has been raised, because that's a sign that we expect more, and that they're on the trajectory to being a good team. When you don't even when you're almost discrediting the opponents, we don't do that. We haven't done that in the past. So I'm very excited, and Caleb looked great. And the Keenan Allen throw, that touchdown, both Keenan Allen touchdowns, but the first one,
yeah,
that's one of those ones where I don't care. You could say it's the Jags and their defense stinks. That's the old Dan Marino. There's no defense for a perfect pass.
Yeah,
he threw a perfect pass.
I referenced that. To me, was a Rodgers to Devontae Adams and their Green Bay Packers connection.
Yeah.
Something similar to that. Would you say, and I know how much love you had for Jay Cutler, as we all did, would you say that you are infinitely more excited and optimistic about Caleb Williams than you ever were even about Jay?
Yeah, I would say so. I'd say that's fair. That's no disrespect to Jay. I love Jay. But Caleb, I mean, he's younger, and he's, at the start of his career, and everything that we've seen so far has been great, and his footwork is good, and just everything he's doing. And I think the credit to Shane Waldron. We dumped on the guy for the first couple of weeks of the season, which was rightfully so, but it's clear there's been adjustments. Caleb is, they're taking the throws that are being given to him a lot more. And I think there's even more that this offense could do. I think Rome Odunze is open. I think Rome Odunze is our best wide receiver. That's a hot take.
Ooh.
But I think he is. And
that
I
is
think
a bit of a hot take at the moment.
It is a hot take. I know it's going to sound crazy. I think he is a special talent. And if you watch some of the All-22, what he's being asked in a third receiver role, and he's getting open, and it's going to explode soon. I think he's going to have a crazy stretch here where he starts putting up crazy numbers, and that's where the offense is going next.
So I think I'm going to get you excited here, Big Cat. I'm going to have Waddle get your nipples tingling here. Tell him what you said about Caleb Williams breaking down the tape. What you saw.
I said that, there have been performances by quarterbacks where guys pass for more yardage, and I believe Mitch had a 6-touchdown game. But you go back and watch that film, and I factor in the interception, which was, an awful throw, and he was late with it. I said to the guys, I have not seen a better, more complete, more in command, more accurate performance by a Bears quarterback maybe ever on film.
Wow, that did get me. And can we talk about the interception for a second? Because in a weird way, those interceptions I can deal with because it was the right read. He just threw the ball he flat-footed it and didn't put enough on it. And I would take that interception over an interception where it's he just doesn't see the middle linebacker. You know what I mean? Like an interception where he's reading it wrong or he doesn't see the safety coming in. He threw that incorrectly. He read it touchdown.
Right. He read it right. Yeah. It took too long to throw, and then he hung it up there. It was a bad play. And he acknowledged it. One thing about it, I thought it was a great play call at 3rd and 1.
Yeah.
And it was there to be had.
To see the aggressiveness.
I think, you referenced the throw to Keenan Allen, especially on the first touchdown pass, the slants that he was throwing, some of the third down throws, his reading of the field. And I think what we saw this week, which we really hadn't seen prior, was we saw glimpses, but his ability to not just tuck and create opportunities to throw it, but his ability to tuck and run and be a viable threat running the football. And when you factor it all in, it is such an enormous stress on a defense to have a quarterback that has the ability to tuck and run, the quarterback that will throw it quickly, and a guy that is tremendously accurate. Yeah, it was football. It was quarterback porn. It really was.
It really was. I was giggling to myself watching, and the running part. And this is why I loved him coming out of college, because I watched him a lot at USC too. The running part, what I love about Caleb Williams is even when he's about to run, his eyes are still downfield. Yeah. He's not running like we've seen, and not naming names on former quarterbacks where it's first read's not there, tuck and run. He's exhausting all options. Even as he's getting ready to run, he's still looking downfield to try to make a play. And that's the type of stress where it's not, you can't say, oh, he's a running quarterback. We're just going to know that as soon as we lock down the first guy, he's going to try to get out of there. No, he's always trying to make that pass. And it's so hard to defend. It's what Patrick Mahomes does. He's not Patrick Mahomes, obviously, but that's what Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen does, where it's like they can get out of the pocket, and they're not saying I'm getting out of the pocket to run. They're saying I'm getting out of the pocket to extend the play to get a pass, and at the last second, if I have to, I'll run.
Yep.
Barstool Big Cat joining us on the CarX Tire and Auto hotline as he does every week at this time on Waddle and Silvy. Big Cat, I saw that you were obviously at the forefront. You predicted, I saw this clip floating around social media, that the Bears would be 4-2 or maybe even 5-1. You said this last January, I think it was. You were at the forefront. So go ahead and gloat. Let the folks know that you knew this was coming.
Well, I mean, it was to my producer Hank who was saying, I was making the comparison. It was actually right before the Packers game, week 18 last year, where we were out of it, but we could play spoiler. And I was making the comparison to what the Lions did the year before, where they were out of it, but they could play spoiler. And you saw the Lions 2 years ago. You could see at the back half of their season, they were building something that was going to be sustainable going into the next year. And that was my whole point. It was like, what the Bears, people were clowning on the Bears last year because of the start, which was abysmal. But if you watch them when the rest of the country stopped watching the Bears because they were so bad to start the season, we were watching them, and we saw when Montez Sweat got on the team that this team was starting to put together something defensively, and you didn't obviously know who the quarterback was going to be. We assumed it was going to be Caleb Williams, but you could see that what they were building was going to be a carryover to the next year. So I called my shot. I said they're going to start. I didn't know what the schedule was. Obviously, there was some easier games than we thought, but it just proves the point that like the continuity in what Ryan Poles has put together, that started last year. And I know it's different quarterbacks, but what this defense has been doing, that started last year. This isn't a surprise defensively. And the Jags, we were playing with 3 guys out in our secondary. So it's exciting. It's exciting. And I'm not even going to get ahead of myself because someone actually asked me today, they're like, do you think the Bears can go to the playoffs? And I was like, honestly, I think it's like a 50-50 proposition.
Call your shot again.
No,
call your shot.
No, but look,
don't be a baby. Call your shot.
This is where I'm at, and this is a great place to be at. I know Caleb Williams is going to be great. I don't have to try to prove to someone. I don't have to convince someone. I don't have to convince myself. I also know that he's still a rookie quarterback, and there'll probably be a couple games down the stretch where he will not look great. But I'm not going to panic because I know he's going to be great. Whereas previous guys, I would panic because it was more like, hey, when a bad performance happens, you're thinking, oh, man, is this what it is? And guess what? It was what it was. This time, we're going to have a couple bumps.
You're too mature.
But the maturity comes from knowing deep down that Caleb Williams is special. It's a great feeling. Yeah. The previous iterations of the Bears' experiments at quarterbacks, I think we all did the same thing where we tried to convince ourselves that we're big, tough, and strong and that we got our guy. But deep down, we knew that it probably wasn't the truth. Now I'm so confident and like set with what I see and what I know he is that I don't have to prove it to anyone. And if he has a bad game, won't change my opinion whatsoever.
Wow, I like the more measured approach in some ways, but I also like Big Cat when he shoots his shot. So I'm hoping that we can somehow find a way to do both.
This is going to put years on my life at the end. Because if Caleb Williams goes out and throws a stinker, I'm not going to freak out.
Right. And you know what's going to happen.
Freaked out in the past.
There's going to be a moment when you say, wow, that was not very good. That's just the nature of the sport. Like, you're going to face a team that has your number, and you may not bring your best to the stadium that day. That's just, that's the way it goes.
And here's what it is, too. And we all got to be open about this. The back half of the schedule is very tough. And guess what? A rookie wall happens to every rookie. So those two things are going to be a combo that are going to be tough to get over when we start talking about late November and December. But again, it doesn't change what I feel about him and what I feel about the future of the Bears going forward. This season, if they make the playoffs, it would be an insane success, like beyond my wildest dreams, given the schedule and everything that we've laid out. So just keep fighting. And if we get a chance to it'll be incredible.
Barstool Big Cat joining us here on Waddle and Silvy. All right, so your co-host for Pardon My Take, PFT commenter, is a big Commanders fan. And, of course, the Bears have the bye, so that allows you to peek ahead. But he's got the Panthers this week. Have you already started the trash talking? How's that going?
I know there's no trash talking because we're trying to stay, you got to keep the marriage together. We don't want this to break us up. I think I have to do a tattoo bet with him because we did a tattoo bet last year. So, and obviously the Bears won. So I have to, he's offered that up again and I can't say no. But I'm nervous about this game just because you know how it works. Well, Washington's good. Jaden Daniels is good.
Yeah.
And you know how it works. The loser of this game, there will be an avalanche of like, hey, that guy's better than this guy. And so, yeah, it feels like it's going to be more than just a regular season game. But like you said, bye week, got some time to mentally prepare. They're going to play the Panthers. Jaden Daniels is going to look great against the Panthers. I told him that. I was like, you're going to love playing the Panthers. The Panthers are fun to play. Like, that's a very fun experience to play the Panthers. So, but then, yeah, it will be a crazy stream. It will be a crazy time, 2 Sundays.
What kind of tattoo did he have to get to pay off the bet last year?
It's your choosing. So he got something, I think he got, some kind of art that his dad had drawn.
Okay.
So yeah, it's your choosing. I don't know what I would choose if we lose this game, but I think what we're just going to end up doing is, as long as we're doing the podcast and God willing, we do the podcast for another 10 years. Every time the Bears and Commanders play, we'll just be doing tattoo bets. So we'll just end up with full sleeves.
Is there any chance you would ever get a lower back tattoo?
No, I'm going to get one that's going to look sick on my arm.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to be like, whoa, is he a bad boy? I'm like, yeah. Do you know how I watched the Blackhawks the other night? I'm breaking the law, baby.
This dude's a criminal. Do you like the flex treatment, the 325 Nance and Romo that the Bears get against the Commanders on CBS?
For my personal life, no, because we take part of my take after all the games on Sunday, and there's going to be a come down that I'm going to need for a little decompression. I was just happy that they didn't flex it to prime time, because as everything I said about Caleb and everything I said about the Bears and how excited I am, I'm still so scarred from all of our primetime failures that I'm not ready to like be looking forward to primetime. I think that's the last step is like next year when we look at the schedule and it's like, oh, nice, we got primetime games. Like, this will be exciting. We're not there yet, though.
Have you checked in with Aaron Rodgers yet to see how happy he is with the addition of Davante Adams?
I have not, but that was, that
was expected.
What it was expected, but it also was very funny.
Yeah, it was.
That they dropped that game to the Bills. Essentially, obviously there's a lot of football left, but if you look at the standings, the Bills are going to probably run away with this division now. And you're like, all right, brutal loss. Let me fix it by, oh yeah, here's a bouquet of flowers, Davante Adams. Like, doing something wrong and just being like, I'll just get my wife something nice and she'll forget it. I don't know if you can forget it. Well, if one wide receiver fixes everything.
That's true. Well,
it's crazy because if you were the Jets, Davante Adams is really good. I think I'd rather have Hassan Reddick signed.
Well, their defense hasn't been their problem.
It didn't look great on Monday night.
No, but like overall,
Josh Allen's not playing with like a murderer's row yet. He was on his backup running back.
Yeah,
his wide receivers are a rookie and Shakir, who I like, but like they were moving the ball.
They've been a top 10 defense analytically all year, haven't they? The Jets,
yes.
And this would
maybe against the run.
The run hasn't been. It definitely wasn't great on Monday night.
Yeah, but teams. That happens over the course of a 17-game season. Like,
I'm just saying.
If Garrett Wilson squeezes that pass in the end zone, which you would expect
or
Davante
one of
Adams to do,
the liquored up kicker or the Greg the leg, whatever his name is, makes a field goal or two.
He did the other version of double doink on Monday night. He hit it twice.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
They're giving up 200. They're giving up 273 yards and 18 points per game. Like, okay, maybe their run defense isn't great, but neither is the Bears.
There was that Bo Nix game that skews a lot of that. That was one of the worst games we've ever seen.
And they lost that game. They did lose that game.
This is going to be another situation where
I'm
watching more football than old Tom Waddle.
Are you pirating the Bulls game tonight?
Do you have it queued up and ready to go? Your illegal stream.
No, I will not. I will not be pirating a preseason game.
basketball.
I'm good with
Lonzo Ball's
preseason.
back.
I'm good with preseason. I think I'll be okay with preseason.
You're not interested in the slightest to see what Lonzo Ball looks like?
I just want him to be to not get hurt again. I'm excited for him to be back.
Wow.
All right, let me see. Jets.
Are you still trying to prove? What's your point that you're trying to prove?
17th in the NFL against the run.
I know, but the Bears give up 112 yards per game too, and you love that team.
Well, yeah, but I've also said that the Bears' run defense is the one part of their defense that I'm concerned about, and they're also 10th in the league against the run.
Yeah, they're also giving up 4.6 yards per carry.
All right, how many sacks do they have? The Jets have sacks per team. I'm just sitting here gonna just crunch some numbers.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you're paying Devontae Adams a lot of money that you said you couldn't. All right, they've got good pressure.
Yeah, they do.
That might be the Bo Nix game too.
That may be the Bo Nix. Hey, listen, you can do both, Big Cat. And I was going to ask you if maybe this inspires them. Hassan Reddick has now switched agencies. He's got a new rep. Maybe this
gets a deal closer for them.
Maybe this gets it done.
No, because they don't have the money now.
It's the cap's fake. You can always manipulate money if you really want to.
That's true. That is true.
All right, Big Cat.
No, but they told Hassan Reddick they can call other teams.
And for a short window, so we can shop around and see what other teams are willing to give him. We will let you get back to crunching those numbers and setting up illegal streams for Bulls and Blackhawks basketball.
Where's Silvy, by the way? Is he on vacation again?
Yes, he's in Vegas.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes. Absolutely. You know how it is. Some people love football season, others don't. That's how it goes.
This guy, it's not
Send
even
him a text and ask him where he was today.
Yeah.
He's probably at the pool all day.
Sure.
And say, I thought you loved football season. Where are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. All right.
Sorry,
guys, for going long.
No, we love you. We appreciate it.
See you guys.
Talk to you later.
Right.
There's Barstool Big Cat. He joins Waddle and Silvy every week, every Wednesday at this time.